back at the 12-yard line. Ernest Jones, backup linebacker, takes down Vick.
In the first quarter of this game, he's been an absolute ball hog in this thing early.
Oh, I wouldn't say all that. That's crazy.
Django, have you never 7-yard gain, and it's good for first down. Military, Nate Bergen and James Buckle find the quarterback. I think that's the way it ought to be. Bobby Roll tries to get himself back leading as they're facing third down again.
I don't know. We're fired up. We definitely pumped up.
MVP, yeah. MVP. Should we expect a third here in year one with Declan?
That's not the goal. That's just it happened. But hopefully it's something better than just MVP.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first ever podcast edition of Django Sports Network. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're talking Ravens football all season long. Now tonight we're breaking down the Ravens 24-7 preseason victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. And let me tell you one thing, if this is what Baltimore's backups look like, man, just wait until those starters get in. Although we did have a few starters that we had playing in the preseason game, of course, Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Roquan, starters were not playing. However, we did have a few starters as well as potential starters out there playing. Now, these types of games are the games that help us understand who will make that final 53-man roster. And based on what we saw Saturday night, a lot of those players helped themselves in a big way. Let's start with quarterbacks. My man Joe Fagnano may have had the most impressive performance of the night. This man finished with 22 of 28 passing for 224 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 minor interception that occurred in the end zone. Now, outside of that interception, Fagnano looked calm, confident, and in control of the offense. He was getting the ball out quick, making good reads, and consistently moving the chains. Now, for a quarterback trying to prove he belongs on the NFL roster, I think he did a pretty good job of showing exactly why he deserves in the NFL and also deserves a roster spot, if not being a number 2 or possibly a number 3 on somebody's roster road. Now, it wasn't just Fagnano. Tyler Huntley and Austin Reed also contributed to the Ravens quarterback room as they combined for 30 completions to 12 different receivers. Now, that tells me 2 things. First, the quarterback room played very well. Secondly, somebody was getting open all night long. So speaking of receivers, let's talk about the guy that everybody seems to be talking about right now, and that is my man out of USC, Jacoby Lane. Now, if you like me and you've been paying attention to training camp, you've probably seen all the one-handed catches all over social media. Well, Saturday night, he turned things up a little bit and turned all that practice hype into game-time production. Now, with just under 10 minutes left in the second quarter, Fagnano found Lane for a second 16-yard touchdown pass. Lane fought through 2 defenders, dragged 2 Eagles towards the goal line, and stretched the football across for his first ever NFL touchdown. He was about to throw the ball in the end zone, could have got fined for that. He turned into some kind of mediocre celebration. So you need to work on your celebration, bro. I know you was a little hyper, but I think you got a little something more in the tank in terms of celebration. Now, that's the kind of play that fans often remember. The things that help you get noticed when making the roster are some of these tight decisions that we're starting to see now. And I think it's safe to say that Jacoby Lane hype train has picked up a few more passengers on Saturday night. Now, next up, let's talk about my man from the University of Indiana, Elijah Surratt. Now, Surratt led the Ravens with 6 catches for 66 yards. He was a little quiet throughout the training camp. We didn't see many videos of the guy, but he sure did step up big time during the game. He was reliable, productive, and seemed to always be around the football. Now, we did have one minor mistake with this guy. I believe in the third quarter, Surratt lost a fumble after the Eagles cornerback, Sean Wade, knocked the ball loose from behind. Now, personally, I had no idea that Surratt had all these moves. He was slipping and sliding, juking defenders, slipping and sliding like he was at a Diddy party. But a solid night for this guy, but hey, that's just football. The good news is that coaches can usually fix those ball security issues. They cannot teach the ability to get open and make plays consistently. He calls himself Waffle House. He's always open. Now, some recognition is tight end Matt Hibner. We once had a guy that was very likely to succeed and get a big contract at one point in time, but Mr. Isaiah Likely is now with the New York Giants. Hibner had 5 catches for 61 yards. Now, every preseason, there's a player who quietly puts together a strong performance while everyone else is focused on somebody else. Now, Matt Hibner just might be that guy. Now, let's zoom out for a bit and look at the overall numbers because this game was a complete domination by the Ravens. The Ravens finished with 298 passing yards. The Eagles, just 83 passing yards. Baltimore had 31 first downs. The Eagles only had 6 all freaking game. Now, I've seen people get more first downs playing Madden on the rookie difficulty, but for some reason, the Eagles, they were horrible last night. Either that or the Ravens defense is just that good. 0 for 9 on third down. That is not a typo. 0, not one conversion, nothing. Once again, the Eagles went 0 for 9 on their third down conversions. Let that sink in for a second. The Ravens defense completely shut the door every single time Philadelphia tried to extend the drive. The Eagles committed 10 penalties while Baltimore only committed 3. That's the difference between a disciplined football team that spent most of the time helping the opponent and a team that's destined for the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the turning point of the game. Now, the Ravens were already in control the whole course of the game, but my man, I used to be a receiver, now I'm a running back. My man, Adam Randall, put the game away for good. In the fourth quarter, Randall fought through defenders and powered his way into the end zone for a 4-yard touchdown run, and it gave the Baltimore Ravens a 17-0 lead. Now, at that point, the game was completely over. The only thing that prevented the Ravens from recording their first preseason shutout since 2019 was a late Eagles touchdown. Defensively, this group deserves a whole lot of credit. Now, holding any NFL team to just 83 passing yards, 6 first downs, and no third down conversions is impressive no matter who is on the field. It's a very dominant performance on defense. And last and least, let's talk about my man Tyler Loop. Oh my gosh, it was like seeing the finale from last season all over again. This man missed a 49-yard field goal attempt wide right in the very first quarter. Now, this brought back so many pain, boos, memories, tears, everything from that Baltimore Ravens loss last year that helped us not make the playoffs. But he did bounce back, and he drilled a 42-yard field goal in the third quarter. And honestly, that's what coaches love to see. I mean, I admit, I miss Justin Tucker on our team. Now, overall, this was about as good of a preseason game as the Ravens could have asked for. Strong quarterback play, productive receivers, dominant defenses, disciplined football, and several young players made a strong case for roster spots. Now, the final score was 24-7 in favor of the Ravens. However, this game wasn't even close. If anybody's a fan of defense, if anybody's a fan of purple, all the birds were flocking except the Eagles. Let's just put it that way. Now, let me know in the comments who you think impressed you the most. Was it Mr. Joe Fagnano, Jacoby Lane, Elijah Surratt, Matt Hibner, or anybody else that may have stood out to you? As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Django Sports Network on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, as well as Instagram. I'm Django, and I'll catch you on the next one.